Williamson County, good to be here. Thank you so much. I love hanging around with winners. This guy's a winner. How you doing? Anyway. Rick Perry. John, howdy.
Materials manager.
So was he out on the West Coast with you?
No, we hired him
After you got here. I want you to consider with your conception of what people have about this place, culturally, intellectually, your management marketing manager.
Rob Smith of Corporate Technologies. As you know, one of our senior.
So awesome, man. I thought this was yours. You were just showing it to me.
Eric lives here in Cedar.
So that's just, and then you put it all together. So the processor,
with their need and organization. Putting Texans to work. This is the brains of the family. Martin came from California.
his friends. And where'd you?
John Harrington. I'm actually from Round Rock.
Yes, sir. Very baby.
That's my daughter.
What's mom's name?
That's Denise, and her name's Ashley.
This is Mark Bartholomew,
Mark.
Director of Engineering.
Glad to meet you. Where'd you get your engineering degree?
Purdue University.
Yes, sir. It's a good school.
That's right.
You couldn't get in A&M?
I did, but just hard.
Local chiropractor. There's actually a on-site chiropractor for a company who provides your employees.
Corvalent is the leading manufacturer of high-quality industrial computers and computing components found in many industries, including oil and gas, industrial automation, security and defense, medical, among others. I would like to thank each one of you, especially Governor Perry, and the Cedar Park Economic Development officials who are here today, you probably met them, of this important announcement. So as most of you know, Corvalent relocated to Cedar Park from Silicon Valley 3 years ago. I'm especially honored to have Governor Perry here in our office today. Over 15 years in business in Silicon Valley, I never even saw the mayor. Can you believe that? Let alone the governor. I saw him in a big screen, but that's about it. Since relocating, we have grown an average of 30% annually. That's remarkable. And double our staff since we moved here. The energy sector of our revenues was small before we moved, and now has grown to 22% of our overall revenues. What I can tell you is since I moved to Texas, or we moved to Texas, our state government works to enable businesses, not to rule over it. That's pretty important.
Yeah.
Our state fulfills its responsibility to protect its people. And that includes encouraging businesses to prosper, so business can create new jobs. In fact, Governor Perry, if I'm not overstepping my boundaries here, I would like to consider changing the official slogan of our great state to Texas Works.
Yeah.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
The people of Texas work because we create more jobs and have lower unemployment than the rest of the country. Because Texas works. It seems the rest of the country is trying to figure out how they can follow the trail we have blazed, don't they?
Yep.
Texas is now what I call in the passing lane of the globalization superhighway that leads to long-term growth and prosperity, while the slow lane is full of those states, like the one I used to be, that bog business down in oceans of red tape and high costs. To summarize, I like living in Silicon Valley, I really did, but I love living here. in doing business in Silicon Hills. Now I would like to introduce you to a gentleman, a real gentleman, who has helped create a business-friendly environment for this city. Mr. Tony Dale, candidate for state representative. Thank you.
We paid down debt early to make sure we didn't have to raise taxes in the future. And we did smart things like changing our investment policy so that we were no longer allowed to invest in mortgage-backed securities, if you can believe that was allowed at one point. We didn't do it, but now they can't because we told them that's not going to happen. We balance our budget each year. Wouldn't it be nice if the federal government did that? And when we balance the budget, we make sure it's in a document that's readable, that makes sense, and really tells the truth about where the money came from and where it goes. And we use those fund balances, those positive dollars, to make sure we do one-time things only, not pay for continuing operations. Appreciate you all being here, because now I'm going to introduce my state representative, Dr. Charles Schwertner.
Hello everybody, how y'all doing today? It's been a great day in Williamson County. I am honored to endorse Tony Dale for state representative, and I am honored to endorse Marsha Farney for state representative. I am very happy to have reached out to the people of Senate District 5 over the last 7 months, listening and learning about their concerns, about their issues. And I look forward to serving with the same amount of integrity and statesmanship that Senator Ogden has served over the last 15 years representing us in the Texas Senate. Today, I have the great honor of introducing a man who has served as Chief Executive of the state of Texas for over 11 years. As our 47th governor, Governor Rick Perry has defended conservative values in Texas, sought innovative solutions to our state's challenges. Texas has consistently ranked as one of the top states in the nation to do business. The economic policies in Texas are a blueprint for the rest of the country. Balance your budget. Keep taxes low and under control. Keep regulation fair and predictable. And give business the tools to succeed by reducing frivolous lawsuits and maintaining Texas's status as a right-to-work state. Governor Perry's stalwart leadership and commitment to these principles has seen Texas rise to become one of the most economically successful states in the nation, attracting companies like Corvalent and thousands of high-quality jobs to the state of Texas. It's been one of my greatest privileges to work side by side with Governor Perry as a member of the Texas House of Representatives. And with your help, I look forward to serving with him again as a member of the Texas Senate. Governor Perry, welcome to Williamson County. Ladies and gentlemen, our governor, Governor Rick Perry.
Doctor, thank you very much. Ed, I just want to ask you one favor, and one more favor. You know, I guess it was a favor to ask you to move from California here. And it was a great benefit to men and women who walk out of here every day with a great job and knowing that they're being able to take care of their families. And that's the wonderful, I guess, side story of this business, is that people get to live better lives because of your commitment to free enterprise. But I want to ask you one more favor, and that is, if you'll just let us have that new motto so that we can copyright it and we won't have to. I love that. Texas works. Yeah. Isn't that awesome? I mean, that says so much about who we are as a people, that the state works in the sense of it actually functions properly, and that men and women have that work ethic in this state, and that more people get to work here and jobs get created than any other state in the nation. I mean, I like that, and thank you very much. We will accept it with gratitude. I came here for a couple reasons today, talk about the budget compact in one, but I also came to talk about some of my friends who are standing here with me and in this audience. And I'm 100% behind Charles Schwertner to be our senator. He has been a great friend and one of those individuals that will stand with you. I got the great opportunity to work with him over the course of the last latest session during a difficult and a challenging period of time, and you never had to wonder about where Charles Schwertner was. He was always standing up for the people of his district and the people of the state of Texas, and he's for limited government, he's for creating unlimited opportunity, and it is refreshing, I might add, to have a physician in the Texas House and soon to be in the Texas Senate as well that will bring a very unique perspective as we deal with the challenges that face us. And I want to also add to my list of people that I'm proud to stand up here with and endorse just an outstanding councilman in this part of the world, and that's Tony Dell. I use Tony as an example of somebody that signed a paycheck on the front and on the back. Having that small business experience is really important, I think, in the legislature as well. And a third person that I want to talk about here, just how much I respect him and admire him and the work that he's done, is John Bradley. I'm part of and I'm throwing my support behind John for a number of reasons. We've created more jobs than any other state in the nation. We've balanced our budgets. We have had billions of dollars set aside in our rainy day fund. Charles was very involved in making our budget be balanced, reducing $15 billion of spending in that budget so that we didn't have to go to people like Ed and say, sorry, we just didn't have the courage to say no to more spending and we're going to have to raise your taxes. That's what he heard time and time again in California. And I would suggest to you that in the regulatory climate is the reason he finally said, we're going to have to relocate. So the reason I created the Texas Budget Compact is because now's not the time for us to rest. Our competitors are looking across the border of Texas. I can promise you Bobby Jindal in Louisiana, Susana Martinez in New Mexico, Mary Fallon in Oklahoma. They're all looking at their legislature and their tax structure and their regulatory climate and their legal system. And they're saying, how can we make our states more competitive to compete with Texas? That is the reason that I put this budget compact together, so that we have truth in budgeting, that we have a renewed commitment to stopping any and all new taxes or tax increases, that we have a stricter constitutional limit on spending, that we stop any attempts to get into the rainy day fund for anything other than one-time expenditures. And let me just be very clear about something. And I know this drives my liberal friends crazy, or as they like to be called, progressives. But there is no such thing as government money.
That's right.
That money belongs to the taxpayer. It is your money. And it must be spent wisely and it must be spent efficiently. You know, the big special interest spending groups out there want us only to think about the recipients of services. And there are some incredibly worthwhile recipients, I admit that. But at the same time, who's going to stand up for the taxpayer who funds those programs, for the people who work hard to make their ends meet, for the folks who struggle to save for that college education, those who can't get ahead because they're overtaxed and they're billed to death? Who's going to stand up for them?
I'll suggest there are two people with me on this podium today that understand that. For the sake of the taxpayer, we must reform our budget process and control the appetite for more spending. And I want to talk about these 5 just a moment, if I may. Enforcing that truth in budgeting, it's hitting the reset button on our budgeting process is the way I look at this. Putting an end to the budgetary tricks and the maneuvers that produce nothing but short-term solutions and long-term confusion. We need to stop writing IOUs to the next budget, delaying payments we know that are going to come due. We need to reduce the use of fees and dedicated accounts for anything other than the purpose of which they were sold to the people of this state. And if they're not being used for that purpose, then they need to stop collecting them. Secondly, we need to limit the growth of any increase in state spending to the growth of our population plus inflation. That is simple, it's straightforward, and frankly, it will put us in a position of being able to keep a downward pressure on the spending in our state. Third, we need to keep our taxes low. That one ought to be a no-brainer, but the fact of the matter is there are people out there that are going to say, well, we've got to raise taxes. We've heard it over I think every legislative session I've been involved with. There have been groups out there that say we've got to spend more money. We have to have a personal income tax. Well, let me tell you, the best thing we've never done in the state of Texas is pass a personal income tax. And there are a lot of small businessmen and women in this audience. One of the things that will send a powerful message to you and people like you all across this state is to make our small business tax permanent. Get rid of having to come to the legislature every 2 years, Bob, and say, oh, please re-up us for that tax exemption for small businesses. Send the message of we're going to make that permanent so you don't have to worry about it. You can hire those individuals to expand your business. You can invest in the new equipment that you need and not have to worry about, is the legislature going to have that tax exemption for us or not? You know, small business owners are the real heart and soul of our economy, and we need to clearly give them some stability with that small business tax. Fourth, I talked about the rainy day fund. We need to make sure that it's used for only the purposes of which it was set up, and that is for disasters. Unfortunately, this state gets hit by a multitude of disasters, whether it's drought or flood or tornado or hurricane or man-made disasters that we never see coming, like the space shuttle disintegrating over East Texas or the Queen Isabella Causeway being struck by a barge. I mean, one-time expenditures plus having that $8 to $9 billion in that rainy day fund sends a powerful message to our bond rating companies that allow us to have the highest bond rating and the lowest rate of interest to borrow money. So it should never be tapped for ongoing expenses. Fifth, we need to target and eliminate those unnecessary government programs and agencies. It ought to go without saying, but if you've got agencies that are performing similar tasks or that somewhere else in government it's being dealt with, we need to eliminate those. If we will enact these common sense controls on spending, Texas will be better prepared for the future and will be better positioned to deal with these unfunded mandates that are dictated from Washington, D.C. So I'm here today not only to share with you how excited I am to work with, support, endorse these candidates for office, but also to enlist your support in passing this Texas Budget Compact. Because if you think about it, it's our working families that we're really talking about protecting. And the fact is, most working families are doing this already, either in their personal lives or in their small businesses. They're having to deal with this. That's essentially what I'm asking state leaders to do. Use our added money. Use this supply, if you will, that's come in because of the God-given resources of oil and gas that we've been able to discover and through innovation be able to produce. Square the books on the programs like Medicaid. Start using more money collected from fees for their stated purpose. This election allows us the opportunity to elect conservative leaders, all the way from the courthouse to the Capitol. It's about restoring power to our people by letting them keep more of what they work for. Because I truly believe the people of this state and the people of this country, frankly, can spend their money more wisely and more efficiently than government can. And it is time for us to get back to we